we finally got a bit less wind. We're out on the west coast again, not as far out as yesterday, but we've got something cool planned. We're going to go out on a traditional Shetland fishing boat that's around 90 years old, which they used to use for the haddock back in the day. I'm quite excited to take Jake and Dave out on it, and we're going to do some rod and line fishing. And again, we're going to get in the water and see if we can see some big fish down there and hopefully shoot them. That's the plan. Get Dave into some nice fish. And today I think Jake's going to be overwatch, and fingers crossed he's going to be smashing those ling. We've also brought along the barbecue and the little stove because we're going to try and get to one of the outer islands, find a nice little beach and do a fresh fish cook up. So let's hope the sun comes out for that part. It's looking like it's turning into an absolutely stunning day, and I can't wait to get right out there and do some fishing. But with that, we go past some locals chilling out on the rocks, enjoying the sun just like we are, and there's a fair few of them. The locals left to sunbathe and swim about the nice water. We headed off to the open sea. First port of call, bait. So that means mackerel. Now, I don't know where I'm going out here, so we rely on our skipper to take us to the right spots, and he knows what he's doing because it's not long before we get stuck right into them. He brought his old line in. No, that one. Knowing that we've got the barbecue on the boat, we decide to keep fishing and get a couple extra mackerel, bleed them, ready for the barbecue. With enough bait caught, it was time to go use that bait and fish those deeper depths in the hope of something a lot bigger. This time we're after ling, cod, and some pollock. Pretty much whatever will bite the hook, we'll reel it up. We're not wearing any oilskins. We're not proper fishermen. That's a good one. Yay! With the skipper bagging the first fish, it's not long before Dave gets a bite and he is on. And look at his little rod go, he couldn't reel any quicker. Turns out it's not a bad size ling. Unfortunately, it's foul hooked, so let's see if we can get it in the boat. There it is, your ling. It's not hooked very well, so be careful. Yeah. How big? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's not long before all the rods start shaking and a lot of ling come up. Now, there's a lot of small ones, so they get put back, but the other nice sized ones we're definitely keeping for the table. But we have a different plan in mind now, and we're going to go chase some other fish. We're after haddock, but there can be a lot of whiting around here, and it doesn't take long before Jake pulls up the biggest whiting any of us have ever seen. Yeah. During this moment, we are so lucky to have seen this. A nice minke whale just came up right next to the boat, so I got the drone up instantly. This is such a special moment. They're quite a few around this type of year. The seas are just alive. Unfortunately, I didn't capture it with a drone, but it was truly a special moment, and I'm so glad to share it with the guys on the boat. After the amazing encounter with the minke whale, we kind of all forgot about fishing. So we thought we better just go feed ourselves instead. So we headed off to one of the little islands around us. We moored the boat up safe and sound. We got the fish in the water to stay cool. Hopefully the seals don't take it. And we set off to set up a nice cooking station ready for a good old lunch.
Yeah, right there. Right, good.
So after a really good morning's fishing, we have come to this little island. It's a little beach, so we've just moored up, come alongside, and we're going to cook up some ling that we've just caught. There's quite a few ling about actually. Normally where I fish we get one or two, but this guy knows the place like the back of his hand, so he's been a pretty good guide, and he's managed to bag us quite a few decent sized ones. So we're not going to go hungry today. But what an awesome place, really awesome weather, absolutely loving Shetland. We've seen minke whale this morning that came past the boat. We've got plenty of seals over behind us here. The wildlife is just incredible. So we're going to go onto the beach, we're going to cook up some catch, and we'll catch you in a bit.
Could be worse. Bit thirsty though, that Shetland sun.
We should have wearing shorts.
With the kettle on and the fire going, it was time to prep some fish. Not going to be long before I can cook on these coals, so it's time to get filleting. I'm just going to fillet this ling and get as much meat off as possible, but I am going to miss the belly as I don't want any bones, just to barbecue it. Then I'm going to go to the mackerel and I'm going to do it how I always do it. I've left the guts in these and I just make a cut up at the front, the back of the head, and then I just make my way along the spine, kind of pulling the mackerel towards me. With the mackerel fillets off, the next thing I'm going to do is take the bellies off. Now I'm going to take these bellies off so I have no bones at all, and then I'm going to cut the spine bones coming out as well, because I don't want anything when I'm barbecuing, because basically we're just going to munch on these in a wrap and it's not ideal picking bones out. The good thing is bellies are great bait for some ling. With the barbecue ready and those coals being nice and white, it's time to get these mackerel onto sizzle. Now it is cooking hot and you can hear the fat coming out of these nice bits of mackerel. And that's why I love cooking on a barbecue, because you get all the flames and the char grill taste to it, and I love crispy skin. That's the one good thing about mackerel, is all the fats and the oils, it helps get that nice crispy skin. One thing is we did not think of how we were going to cook the ling. Thankfully we had some spare tin foil going, so we just wrapped it up and got it ready for the barbecue.
That looks pretty good.
Should we chuck the ling on?
Yeah.
Donk.
Swing on the leg.
Right Tom, you've done the lion's share of the work. You've guided us out here, you've cooked.
You guys the guests. Go for it.
Skipper Grant, all to the best fishing spots.
Go on, get stuck in. Oh, it's good. I don't like talking with my mouth full, but that's very good. Freshly barbecued mackerel on a nice fresh wrap with fresh salad and a fresh view like that. You cannot beat it.
After lunch I'll get in the water and then it's my chance to shine. Fingers crossed, touch wood. With the ling being on the barbecue for a while now, it's looking like it's done. So we take that off and it's done beautifully. I wish We did have some lemon and butter to put in there, but we really did not think ahead. But it still tastes really good, and with some greens and a wrap, it's pretty darn good.
Let's get the foot back on the boat. Swing and get out of here.
So we've just ate some smashing food, some mackerel wraps and everything like that. But I don't know if you can see around me, we're getting eaten alive by mozzies, and I absolutely hate them, along with those two, and Tom definitely doesn't like them. So we're gonna get out here. Me and Dave are gonna get in the wetsuits and try and shoot some fish, and Jake and Tom are gonna go bust some ling again, I think. So let's get into it and let's get out of these mozzies. By the time we hiked back to the boat and got that Ali's engine all fired up, we set sail and the weather had completely changed. We did lose the sun, but the sea had turned into a complete mirror and it was amazing. We're even lucky enough to see some porpoises. However, I did not get them on film again. But there's only one thing for it, and that's to take the plunge and get the wetsuit on and see what's out there. All geared up, it was time to head off to a very new spot for me. Tom's always wanted to see what this was like underwater, so he sent me in. What I did do was chuck a whole load of mackerel scraps in just to get rid of them, but also hopefully it entices some nice big fish. So Tom and Jake head off to catch some more ling, and they leave us to find some fish in the depths below. I take my first breathe up of the day, and I head down, and I'm gonna follow this crevice all the way down until it levels out. Now I'm in the area, I think I dropped the mackerel, so let's see if it's attracted anything. Now, by the time I get down into the kelp, I'm not looking up until the last minute. I'm keeping streamlined, and there is a whole load of fish. I see a nice big one, I take my time, and he comes in. You can see him head straight for the kelp here. Now he's getting all tangled up, and the first thing I do is not pull on the line. I let him have it, and I just go up gently as he works his way loose, and that means the spear's got a less chance of tearing out. And I get him carefully to the surface, and I pin him by the gills and get the knife in and dispatch him straight away. As quick as the fish seem to come in, they seem to disappear. Now I do know that when you harass a certain area, they tend to not stick about too much, but I hit some depths and I give it a go, but unfortunately nothing much still comes in. I have one shot here, but I'm just too far away. I decide to do some deeper dives. Now I'm below 15 here, and you can really tell that as there is a lot less kelp. There's a lot more sea urchins. They're going to be down a little bit deeper just because there's less chop and waves to knock them off the rocks. I'm even the same depth as this guy's put his creel. Unfortunately, no fish. Now that's no fish for me. Little did we know, Jake was on the boat with Tom, and they were battling what looked to be an absolute monster. Now, we can only think that it must have been a skate that they hooked into, because they've been battling something for 15-20 minutes. Gaining maybe a meter, losing a meter, gaining another meter, and they kept going and going and going, making no progress. Unfortunately, the line eventually snapped. This could be because the skate had very abrasive skin, and eventually the line just rubbed out. Now, they weren't fishing for skate, so they were not prepared for this, which is a shame because it could have been an absolute monster. After this, they came to see how we got on, and I'm pleased to say, at least I've bagged the fish.
Where did you shoot it there?
Bad belly. Got a nice pollock. I chucked all that mackerel bait in and stuff like that, As soon as I got down there and got my head up, there's a whole shoal of these. Eventually I waited till this was the biggest of the lot came in. Obviously I want like 10 times this size, but this is a lovely Shetland pollock. Lovely in colour, not the best shot, but got it up. That's another one for the table. Woo! I'll just pass it up to you and then you can chuck it on. After being in the water a couple of hours, getting a little bit cold, we decided to jump out and start making our way back. So there you have it, we've been out all day. We got into the ling eventually and Jake tangled with the monster, didn't get it off the ground. We thought, me and Dave were in the water and we thought they hooked the ground, but turns out it was a big fish, but it'll fight another day, I think. Jake's holding a ling up. Don't know if it's his ling, but
definitely isn't my ling.
he did catch a very, very big whiting, which was pretty amazing. Then me and Dave got in for a spear and I managed to get this bad boy just at the end. Nice big pollock. I would love 10 times this size, but you can't get any better than that really. So I think we've all had a pretty good day out here.
It's been awesome.
And the weather has definitely blessed us as well. You can't beat a Shetland night like this. So we're gonna get in and we've got to check some creels before we can get back ashore. Eventually we come to our first set of creels and it's time to get the boat hook and start pulling. After a few creels later, with not catching anything, a lot of crabs anyway, we come to our first lobster.
Yay! Big female! Oh, she's got berries. Has she been V?
Yeah, hold it under.
No V.
We'll give her a V and then we'll let her go. She's nimble.
If you're wondering why they get V'd, this is a local thing that means that the commercial boys don't take them, and it also keeps a record of what lobsters you've catch in case you catch them again.
Hey, that's a big male. Oh, look at that.
With the last creel coming up with the goods, a nice big male lobster, it was time to rebait it, chuck it back in, and head ashore as it's been a pretty long day. The hard work continues once we're back ashore as we've got the boat to unload and get it cleaned, as well as get all this gear back into the pickup. But one thing that will make us do it quickly is the amount of mozzies flying about. This is not ridiculous. Look at all these mosquitoes. So there you have it, that's been 4 days of madness. It's definitely been worth it.
Absolutely stunning. Apart from the bit when I was halfway across that gap and remembered that there are actually killer whales around here, which made me swim a bit faster.
Yeah, and I guess the first time you guys have probably had big open deep water and
pretty much.
Yeah, you've smashed it though. I still get the heebie-jeebies a lot of the time up here, but you guys have aced it. We've got right into the fish. You caught the biggest whiting I've ever seen.
It was big, it's the biggest one I've ever seen.
We've seen a minke whale, so we fit so much into this trip. It was I've blinked and it's just went like that. So thank you guys for coming up.
Thank you. Thanks for being such a top-notch guide.
Good. Thanks.
You're all right.
Yeah, and I'll have to try and get down to your neck of the woods at some point and do some land hunting and stuff like that. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed our antics. It's been a laugh here, so I hope you've had one as well. And we'll see you all soon.